What's going on, Aces? Welcome back to the channel. I hope that you guys are having a lovely Monday. It's gorgeous weather out. Listen, Tory Lanez, unfortunately, he has been assaulted in prison. Let's go ahead and get into this story. It says Tory Lanez was, I have to say, punctured, but there's the word there, trying to abide by YouTube guidelines. So he was punctured while in prison and assaulted and hospitalized. The Canadian rapper, who was serving a 10-year sentence, was punctured in the prison yard of the California Correctional Institute today. Wow, Monday. It says rapper Tory Lanez was serving a 10-year prison sentence after he was found guilty of pow-powing rapper Meghan Thee Stallion, and he was punctured today in prison and rushed to a hospital. Officials said the 32-year-old Canadian artist, whose real name is Daystar Peterson, Daystar, that's a very unique name, okay. He was punctured in the prison yard of the California Correctional Institute, CCI, and the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation made an official statement today. The incident happened this morning around 7:20 a.m. Dang, like was he asleep? Well, no, I think they get up early in prison, right? Don't they have like, I don't know. I don't know the schedule, but and I'm sure probably every prison is different. But I would think by 7 or something like that, it would be either like shower time or like breakfast time. Well, that is crazy. He was transported by an ambulance to an area hospital for treatment. Staff immediately responded to the incident and provided medical attention. An investigation has been launched by CCI and the Kern County District Attorney's Office. It is not immediately clear what his current condition is. Lanez pow-powed Meghan Thee Stallion in the foot after a party at the Hollywood Hills home of the reality star Kylie Jenner on July 12th, 2020. And you know what? I always did like question that because I was like right in the throes of the pandemic, right? So I think that it officially got named COVID-19 around like February, March, something like that's when they started the shutdowns and lockdowns. But by July, okay, I know I was in my house with my mask. And I was getting all my groceries like Instacarted. I'm just thinking back, but I mean, I know it was 5 years ago, but for them to be at a Hollywood party, and again, I know people weren't really abiding by COVID regulations as they should have been. Because I know, especially like in Florida, they were just out there wilding. But I'm thinking like, I don't know, I wouldn't have gone to any type of party in July of 2020, but that's me. Um, okay, let me keep going. He pled not guilty, but was convicted in a jury trial in December of 2022 on 3 felony counts: assault with a semi-automatic firearm, carrying a loaded unregistered firearm in the vehicle, and discharging a firearm with gross negligence. In the high-profile case, prosecutors said that Lane subjected Meghan, whose legal name is Meghan Pete, to 2.5 years of intimidation and harassment following the shooting. So, um, that is the article from NBC News. And listen, all I can say is, this is unfortunate. I don't know if, he got on the wrong side of somebody, while in the yard. It says Tory was punctured 14 times, including 7 wounds to the back, 4 to his torso, 2 to the back of his head, and 1 to the left side of his face. Both of his lungs collapsed, and he was placed on a breathing apparatus. He is now breathing on his own. Despite being in pain, he is talking normally, in good spirits, and deeply thankful to God that he is pulling through. He also wants to thank everyone for their continued prayers and support. So, you never want to see anybody lose their life, right? So, and to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of Tory Lanez, especially after what he did to Meghan. But like I said, you never want to see anybody lose their life in such a violent manner. behind bars. It's unfortunate. I feel like this is just the perfect tale of, one reaps what they've sown. Like, you can't, what is that old adage says, like, you live by the sword, you are unalive by the sword, essentially. And he was not unalive. He's thanking God for that, but it was close. 14 times, both lungs collapsed, 7, wounds to the back and 4 to his torso, 2 to the back of the head and 1 to the left side of his face. Like, these people were not playing. They were trying to do some serious damage, and it's only by the grace of God that he survived that. That is wild. um I don't know if he's going to have to be in solitary confinement or what. They're going to have to move him to a different, location, because I think that his crime is federal, and the fact that he's not a U.S. citizen, he's Canadian, so they might have to send him home to do the rest of his time. I don't know. Who knows? But it sounds like he's made some enemies behind bars, which is scary because you're in such a vulnerable place. You can't leave, you can't go anywhere. And if he is, made some enemies of like some guards, some prison guards, I don't know. It's not looking too good. Um, but I don't know, my social media, my timeline, all, the whole day, people have been like celebrating. And like I said, I never want to celebrate anybody's downfall. You know, I do believe that you reap what you sow. I do believe that if pull a weapon out and harm somebody else, that is going to come back to you. You won't know when and you won't know how, but that law of sowing and reaping, I promise you, it is just as true as the law of gravity. You pick something up and you open your hand and drop it and it'll fall to the ground. The same thing with sowing and reaping. And I feel like Tory, he's just reaping those seeds of violence that he sowed with Meghan. And it was crazy because it was like after, what he did, he was like mocking her and taunting her and just making the whole situation so much worse than it had to be. So maybe he pissed off some Megan Thee Stallion fans behind bars. I don't know. Who knows? But I will say this. I hope that, this is a lesson learned and he comes out of this situation um, more grateful for life and hopefully just a better person. You know, I don't know how true, prison rehabilitation is or how it works, and everyone's different. But that's my hope that he comes out of this situation now that they said that he's going to live and he's out of critical care. He's breathing on his own, which is such a blessing, right? Like something that oftentimes I know I take for granted. I don't even think about it, but yeah, breathing on your own, your health is so important. So that's a blessing. But I hope that he comes out of this situation, like I said, just a better person, treating people better, not so willing to grab weapons and harm people, especially women. Like it's such a cowardly thing to do. I don't know. I think they said that he's going to get deported after his sentence is up. So they may keep him here in the U.S. until the 10 years and then send him to Canada. But they might have to switch facilities or institutions because it doesn't seem like it's safe in the one that he's in California. But you guys, let me know your thoughts. What do you think about Tory Lane? Being punctured 14 times. That's like, was it? I want to find out like more about, was it one person? Was it an inmate? Was it an officer? Was it, multiple people? Because that's a lot. Um, and they were going for like the head and, the torso, the neck, his back, and both of his lungs collapsed and one of the side of his face. Like they were tearing him apart. That's scary. Anyway, um, I wish him all the best. Like I said, I hope this changes his life for the better, and he comes out um, treating people, with more respect and dignity. But let me know your thoughts, guys. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will talk with you in the next one. Take care, Aces. Bye.